The Camino Frances, also known as the French Way, has existed for over 1,000 years. It is the most popular, well-marked, long-distance walking route in the world. In recent times, 150,000 to 200,000 people walk on this route annually. The French Way begins in the city of Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, France, and travels approximately 800 kilometers through the four Spanish regions of Navarra, La Rioja, Castilla y León, and Galicia, finishing in Santiago de Compostela, Spain. The route travels through mountainous landscapes, across the rolling Spanish countryside, and through urban areas, introducing visitors to the most remarkable scenery, historical and cultural landmarks, churches, cathedrals, monasteries, and friendly towns along the way. Join me as I embark on a 37-day inspirational journey and experience all that makes this Camino so special. Witness the challenges of walking on long-distance trails, the joys, moments of awe and wonder, creating new friendships, and being part of the Camino family. This is my journey of walking the French Way, the adventure of a lifetime.
Buen Camino!
I'm standing at the gate of St. James in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, France, about to begin my 800-kilometer journey of walking the Camino. This is a route I've wanted to walk for many years now, and I'm just so excited I finally get the opportunity to walk from here to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. Let's get walking. When beginning your Camino journey, make sure you stop by the Pilgrim office to register and get essential information about the route. Most languages are covered, and after you receive your Pilgrim passport stamp, you are officially walking the French Way. The route continues through the picturesque city, eventually reaching a junction where the Camino splits. To the right, the Camino travels at slightly lower elevations, recommended during poor weather like today. And to the left, the direction I'm heading, brings walkers up and over the mountains. A spring storm of gale-force winds, driving rain, and almost freezing temperatures makes this climb very challenging. I would be lying to you if I wasn't second-guessing my decision to take this alpine route. Reaching a mountain pass near the French-Spanish border, panoramic views open up looking across the Pyrenees Mountains. Soon after leaving here, I say goodbye to France and enter Spain for good. Even in this poor weather, the scenery is spectacular. I eventually reach the high point of the route in the Pyrenees in horrific weather conditions. And I'm still smiling, delighted I chose to walk this mountain route. Before leaving Roncesvalles, the first town on my journey, I visit the Real Colegiata de Santa Maria de Roncesvalles. The church was constructed at the beginning of the 13th century, and is the finest example in Navarra of French Gothic architecture. Wow, it's impressive. Leaving the town, I pass the Camino marker showing the remaining distance of my journey. Right now, Santiago de Compostela feels very far away. Then I happily pose for the obligatory road sign photo for Camino travelers. The rain continues as the route passes through the town of Berguete. The wet weather remains all day. It's still raining! The next morning in the town of Zubri, I'm greeted with clear skies and sunshine. Everyone is enjoying the positive change in the weather. Long may it last. There are plenty of places to eat along the French Way, with many options right along the route. A multitude of options, from local delicacies, sandwiches, pasta, pizza, and the popular and generous three-course Pilgrim menu. Shortly after crossing the bridge of Trinidad over the river Ulzama, I entered the busy streets of Pamplona. I followed the Camino markers on the ground through the old town of Pamplona. This city is known for its legendary multi-day festival, Running of the Bulls. Each July, bulls are led through the city streets by daredevil runners. It would be great to witness that. Off in the distance is one of the Camino's most recognizable destinations on the route. The tough climb brings me to Alta del Perdón, the Hill of Forgiveness. This iconic sculpture represents the history of pilgrims and the pilgrim procession. It's quite moving. There are incredible views looking back towards Pamplona and the surrounding area. The French Way crosses the Romanesque bridge of Puente la Reina. This majestic 110-meter bridge was built in the 11th century to help pilgrims cross over the river Arga, and it still aids travelers today. Incredible. This route is full of history. There are currently 281 caminos listed in 29 different countries. Traditionally, your Camino begins at your home, and your pilgrimage starts there. Last year, over 400,000 people registered themselves as walking on a Camino. I'm walking the most popular of the Caminos on the way to Santiago. The Camino passes the Church of the Holy Sepulchre with its impressive facade and carved apostles to reach the city of Estella. I was fortunate to spend some extra time here, visiting the stunning church of San Pedro de la Rua and the impressive church of San Miguel. I also experienced the National Monument Palace of the Kings with the Gustavo de Maatsu Museum located inside. Absolutely breathtaking. There are plenty of accommodation options on the French Way, catering for all budgets and accommodation preferences. There are hotels with private rooms and bathrooms, or albergues, hostels, or pensions where you have multiple options. A private room with either a private or shared bathroom, or a bunk space, and a small or large communal room. Albergues are the social hub on the Camino, offering the best atmosphere. Most accommodations offer some sort of breakfast, from the basic breakfast to a full buffet. Prices range from over €100 per night to €8 per bunk space. The Camino reaches one of the coolest destinations of the entire route, the Irache wine fountain. Yes, that's free wine for pilgrims coming out of the wall. You can see why this place is so popular. It is recommended to only drink the wine on site, and you are asked to not take away large amounts of wine. It's remarkable that the Bodegas Irache winery so generously provides this refreshment to weary pilgrims. So please be respectful. I'll leave the wine fountain past the monastery of Santa Maria de Irache and continue through the stunning scenery of Navarra. The busiest part of the Camino is always the mornings. Every morning the Camino is lined with walkers leaving town, heading to their next destination. Throughout the day, walkers spread out, giving you time and space to yourself. I reached the small town of Torres del Rio. At the top of the hill lies one of the most important churches of the 12th century Navarresque Romanesque architecture. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre stands out for its octagonal design. The ceiling and magnificent dome crowns the interior and outlines an 8-pointed star. It's definitely worth a visit and look inside. Finding your way on the French Way is easy for the most part. The Camino de Santiago is well marked with stone markers, painted arrows on the ground and on walls, Camino symbols in urban areas, and visible signs scattered along the landscape. When you get to a junction, just look around, and you should find a marker or sign pointing you in the right direction. After walking 174 kilometers, I'll leave the Spanish region of Navarra and enter into the region of La Rioja. Leaving Logroño, the capital city of La Rioja, I enter the Parque de la Grajera. This 175 hectares natural area offers a variety of outdoor recreation opportunities and is home to an impressive diversity of wildlife. Its lagoon ecosystem is one of the most important in La Rioja. This region is famous for its wine, reflecting a long and varied winemaking tradition. Since ancient times, wine has been made here and offered to pilgrims. When you walk the French Way, you see firsthand the influence winemaking has had on this region, as you walk past and even through vineyards and wineries. I reach the small town of Nájera and take some time to visit the monastery of Santa Maria la Real. The first construction on this site dates back to the 11th century. There are so many remarkable things to see here. And for me, the most impressive remnant is the lid of the sarcophagus of Blanca of Navarra. It dates back to the 12th century and is a magnificent piece of Romanesque manufacturing. I usually walk between 22 to 26 kilometers per day. Each day you walk through another town or two, giving you flexibility where you stay and how many kilometers you walk each day. My shortest walking day was 12 kilometers and longest, 35 kilometers. Day 11, and I just reached the 200 kilometer mark on the Camino. The trip so far has been going great. Physically, I feel good. The weather, well, except for the first 2 days, has been very nice. And I've really enjoyed walking across the Spanish countryside, through the small towns and villages, and just see the sights and the landmarks. But probably the most important thing is just meeting other Camino walkers out here. To date, I've spoken to people from 16 different countries. That's incredible.
Buen Camino!
So, to sum it up, the trip's excellent so far, and I'm looking forward to the next 600 kilometers. The route continues through the stunning lush scenery of La Rioja. A few kilometers after the town of Granion, I reach my third Spanish region on the French Way, Castilla y León. I'm looking forward to walking over 2 weeks in this region. It is very easy to manage your hydration on the French Way, with plenty of locations to get water. Placards and signs are usually present, letting you know if the water is safe to drink or not. You can also pick up water at cafes, restaurants, your accommodation, and sometimes locals even leave out cold water for Camino travelers. I continue along the French Way, reaching the city of Atapuerca, which is famous for its prehistoric archaeological sites. You can organize with your accommodation in this region to visit the museum or archaeological site where the remains of the earliest humans in Europe were discovered. The actual site is 15 kilometers from town and well worth a visit if you have the time. The route reaches the busy urban area of Burgos. I wind my way through the streets reaching the historic city center. Towering straight in front of me is the impressive Burgos Cathedral. Oh my goodness, it is incredible. I am blown away by the design, size, and grandeur of this historic structure. On the way out of town, I take a short, steep detour to check out Burgos Castle. This structure strategically sits above everything else in Burgos, offering 360-degree views of the area. After seeing these views, I don't mind that I made the extra climb. Whenever I'm in a bigger town or city and I see a bakery close by, I literally run over there. And it's usually a long wait, but it's totally worth it. I'm always grabbing something to snack on like this. Amazing. Shortly after leaving the city of Burgos, the route enters into the area known as the Meseta. Large flat plains as far as the eye can see. This time of year, the shadeless fields are lush and green. The first 3 days walking through the Meseta is one of my favorite sections along the entire French Way. For the next 2 weeks, the landscape stays basically the same. There is a saying here, today you will see people who you will meet tomorrow. It's stunning and relatively easy walking through the Meseta, but still a bit of a challenge. Mentally walking through the same terrain day in and day out can be monotonous, and walking all day across this open landscape in the piercing sun and heat is draining. I'm lucky that the current temperatures are only reaching the low 30 degrees Celsius, so it's not terribly hot. Day 19 on the Camino, and I'm officially halfway through my journey. I've walked over 400 kilometers now, feel fantastic. The scenery has been incredible. I've met some really cool and interesting people on the route. And what I've noticed recently, I've become more relaxed. I think it's because when you're walking every day, breathing in the fresh air, and you're experiencing all these new areas at a walking pace, everything kind of slows down, if that makes sense. You're kind of recharging your personal batteries. So I'm excited for the second part of my journey, and I hope it's as inspirational as the first half.
And he said it doesn't really matter if you walk 5,000 or 500 kilometers because the Camino distance for everybody is the same. It's just 20 centimeters from the brain to the heart. And that explained it to me completely, yeah. So that's why I'm here.
For me, the Camino is not reaching Santiago. Santiago is a consequence. We walk. One day we're gonna get there. The Camino is is enjoying, is sharing, is the people.
It's beautiful. Like there is only kindness, and without even noticing each other, we are looking at each other, like looking for each other, looking at each other. We take care of each other.
It's like we're doing this in a unique way, each and every one of us, but we're doing it we're sharing a framework. So it's so fantastic. I meet so many interesting people with interesting stories.
I probably read it somewhere. Everyone's Camino is their Camino, and if you can't do 12, 15, 18 miles a day, just don't worry about it. I think make it yours, make it your own.
I don't know if I'm get to the Santiago. It's my plan to get to there, but it's also been great just making these days. And yeah, my opinion is if you think about it, just do it.
Open up your eyes and just look around. The scenery is so beautiful, but it's so different with every step that you make. It's beautiful.
To do the Camino is just be open mind and open heart. That's enough to do the Camino.
It's sort of a walking meditation, I think. So yeah, it's been great.
The Camino provides. We say this every day, and it works. Camino and God provide.
On the morning of day 20, I was pleasantly surprised to find the plaza in Mountainous so vibrantly decorated with knitted and woven country flags from around the world on display. My country of birth and current residence are represented. Later that day, I reached the recognized halfway point of the French Way. This stone monument on the outskirts of Sahagun marks the approximate geographical halfway point of the route. To this point for me, I've walked 445 kilometers. I always enjoy walking into town, especially after a long day, but I love getting into town knowing tomorrow I have a rest day. Every 6 days or so of walking on the Camino, I give myself a rest day. On this day, I do laundry, charge all my camera batteries, clean my video production equipment, do a bit of work, see the sights, and most important, relax and rest the body. I believe this recovery day is an important part of walking long-distance routes. The next morning, I wake up early to watch the full moon setting and sun rising. Just incredible. It's the perfect way to start off your day. The French Way meanders through the flat terrain, hugging the many roads and heading towards the bustling city of Lyon. I'll wind my way through the city to reach the magnificent Lyon Cathedral. The towers, sculptures, and pointed arches are magical. It is easy to see why this 13th century structure is known as the beautiful Lyonesse. You need to visit the inside of the cathedral. It's as impressive as the outside, and contains one of the largest collections of medieval stained glass in the world. And the sunrises here aren't too bad either. This building is one of my favorite landmarks along the route. There are a few reasons why I wanted to walk the Camino. Reason number one is I like the challenge of walking long distance trails. The second reason is I wanted to walk the Camino and produce a documentary about the journey. And the third reason, which is probably the most important, is I wanted to spend 6 to 7 weeks walking in the outdoors, taking everything in, relaxing, and just being a part of the Camino community. And now that I've been out here for a while, I've noticed that that can sometimes be a bit of a challenge because I am working 2 to 3 hours each day, but that's okay because I love it. And when my cameras are in my backpack and I'm just walking and taking in the sights and the sounds and chatting to people, that's when I'm truly living the Camino experience. The route reaches the historical landmark bridge of Hospital de Orbigo. The stone bridge boasts 20 arches and is over 200 meters in length, making it the longest bridge on the French Way. It's quite impressive. Walking across the stones, it's amazing to think that this medieval structure still serves as part of the Pilgrim's Road to Santiago de Compostela. Each day the mountains get closer and closer. Heading towards the town of Astorga, the route passes a Camino oasis, a perfect place to stop, take a break, enjoy some treats, and even stay for the night if needed. For 14 years, the owner here has provided hospitality to weary travelers. This hidden gem emphasizes the hospitality along the route. I'm walking solo on the Camino, but you're never really alone out here. Every day I meet other Camino travelers, and we chat and we walk together for either a short distance, a few hours, or even most of the day. It's the people you meet out here while walking that makes the Camino so special.
I've really met some beautiful friends through the Camino, and it feels very effortless here. There's kind of a bond of all doing the same thing, having the same experience, that makes it so you can form connections very easily.
It's really been incredible. I mean, the scenery is breathtaking, and the people and all of the places that we stay, I mean, they're all local small businesses dedicated to taking care of the pilgrims. So it's been a lovely, wonderful, enriching experience.
But if I had to make one reason, I would say it's to honour and remember my brother, Ben, who passed away 4 years ago. And little things like lighting a candle for him in the churches and remembering him and honouring him. It's been such a real blessing for me to be able to do that.
I enjoy walking barefoot on Camino to feel the ground and to be more present, not to think so much about other things, but more how I step and to be in the moment.
My husband died a year ago yesterday, and we'd been married 35 years, and I didn't know what came next. So I'm on the Camino to try to figure that out.
It was my idea. I thought I want to go to Compostela by horse. The difficult part for me was to find lodgements for my horse. For myself, there are beggars all over, but for the horse, it's very difficult.
There's a commonality in the Camino that we all share and feel, and I think like-minded people are attracted to it as well, and all that together makes for a unique atmosphere that allows the Camino to work its magic.
I like to say it a little bit differently. I know we say the Camino provides, but it's actually God who's providing.
I met a gentleman in Roncesvalles, and he said to me, "Solvitur ambulando," which is Latin for "it is solved by the walking," which I have found that to be very true.
I think that the Camino has something for everyone. I think it's impossible not to come on the Camino and leave unchanged.
After several weeks of walking across the rolling Spanish countryside, I reached the mountains. I've missed this terrain and these types of elevated views along the route. A couple of kilometers after the small remote town of Fontibadon, I approached the Cruz de Ferro, the Camino's Iron Cross. This monument, consisting of a wooden post and iron cross on top, is both spiritually and geographically important to the Camino. Its base consists of stones and pebbles that were left by pilgrims as part of a tradition of carrying a stone from your home. Stones are left here to symbolize you are leaving all your burdens behind. It's a very emotional place, walkers placing artifacts, saying prayers, and whispering messages to loved ones. This location is also a place of celebration, as at 1,504 meters, it is the highest point on the entire French Way. I continue through the mountains and descend the steep, rigorous terrain down to the lower elevations. Day 27, and I'm 3/4 of the way through my journey. I've walked over 600 kilometers and have just over 200 kilometers left. And every day, the Camino impresses me. This journey has been incredible. I can't believe I only have 11 more days of walking to make it to Santiago de Compostela. So bring on the home stretch. The Camino enters Ponferrada, the last large town on the French Way. I take some time to visit the Templars' castle of Ponferrada. This enormous fortress was established in the 12th century and built to help protect pilgrims walking the Camino de Santiago. Its stunning architecture, large walls, and sheer size imposes its majesty on the area. The views aren't bad either. Leaving the town of Herrerias, I begin the long and arduous climb up into the mountains again. On day 29 of my journey, I reached the Spanish region of Galicia. This is the final region on my journey. The first establishment after entering Galicia is the traditional mountain village of Osobrero. The tiny village is home to pre-Roman dwellings and offer excellent views of the region. I recommend visiting the Royal St. Mary's Church, founded in the 9th century and one of the oldest churches found on the French Way. Inside, you will see the golden chalice associated with the Eucharistic miracle in the year 1300. One of the best parts of staying in this village is having the opportunity to watch the sunrise. Half a kilometer outside the village is a vantage point, the perfect place to view and capture this moment. This is the best sunrise I've experienced so far. It is a special morning, and the views, breathtaking. Another early start and another stunning morning. I reached Alto de San Roque, showcased with an impressive bronze sculpture depicting the pilgrim struggle of walking into the wind. I happily continue through the Sierra de Ancares mountains. This will be the last day walking in the mountains. I'll miss this landscape and views, but excited that Santiago de Compostela is less than a week away. Just outside the town of Samos, there are views across the lush valley and the monastery of Santiago de Samos. The monastery is the largest in Spain. I'm extremely lucky to have been given a private tour of the 6th century complex. It's absolutely remarkable. The large cloisters, highlighted with paintings, Abbey Church, and my favorite, the sacristy, with the sculpture of St. Michael, the Archangel. This place is so moving. I continue walking through Galicia to reach the popular and bustling town of Sarria. Most people that walk in the French Way begin their journey here. Santiago de Compostela is 115 kilometers away, and currently if you walk 100 kilometers on the Camino, you can receive your Camino Compostela or Camino certificate. That is why this section is so busy. That distance criteria might change in the future. The Church of Santiago de Barbadillo is a popular stop right beside the route. This building is recognized for its artistic, historical, and cultural interests. Inside you can see a Baroque altarpiece with the figure of Apostle Santiago. 100 kilometers to go on my journey. Excitement is building. There are smiles all around. I saw more people walking today than I've seen throughout my entire journey so far. The French Way meanders in and out of the tranquil woodlands. Just before the city of Melide, the route crosses the Roman bridge of Ferreros, an architectural jewel on the French Way. While in Melide, I highly recommend trying the local specialty, pulpo, or octopus. Here the octopus is boiled and served with paprika, salt, and olive oil. This traditional dish has become one of the signature foods of the Camino. I continue through the varied terrain on the way to Santiago. The 600-meter detour away from the French Way brings me to Monte de Gozo. The pilgrim statue perched on the hill points the way. The end of my journey is now in sight. Over the past few days, I've been reflecting on so many of the special moments that I've had out here. And this morning, each step that I take is bittersweet because I'm so happy I've had the opportunity to walk the French Way, but it's a bit sad knowing that in about an hour or so, this journey will come to an end. I still vividly remember climbing through the storm over the Pyrenees Mountains, experiencing the Alto del Perdón, the Irachi wine fountain, walking through the Meseta, seeing the Templars' castle of Ponferrada, crossing the bridge of Hospital de Órbigo, reaching the high point of the Camino at La Cruz de Ferro, and feeling the sunrise at Osobrero was breathtaking. The cathedrals of Burgos and Leon were magnificent, and the monasteries of Santa Maria la Real and Santiago de Samos were so impressive. And of course, meeting, chatting, and walking with other Camino travelers, so special.
Buen Camino!
Walking the French Way has been one of the best experiences of my life. It's been incredible. So if you're thinking about walking the entire route, a small section, or even walk another Camino, just do it. You'll love it. Finally, after walking over 850 kilometers, I reached the city's main square and Santiago de Compostela Cathedral, which is buzzing with excitement. My 37-day journey of walking the French Way comes to an end. Such an inspirational and rewarding experience, a truly special journey, the adventure of a lifetime. My journey ends in Santiago de Compostela, but you can continue walking to the coast. The route travels 90 kilometers to the westernmost part of Galicia to reach Cape Fistera. The route finishes at the tip of the peninsula. It is easy to see why this location was once considered the end of the world. Check out the Walking the French Way digital bundle at flaglerfilms.com.